everyone, welcome back to Manga Historian. This is the channel where I, Benny, also known as the Comic Historian, sit down and talk to you about my adventures involved in the world of manga and anime. And today, not only have I gotten a haircut and I'm looking clean and fit, but I'm also going to be talking about the Zou Arc at One Piece, which is chapters 801 to 824, or like 800 to 824. This is the series where I, a guy who reads way too many comic books and watches way too much anime, has been slowly catching up on the One Piece series, starting back in January 1st of 2023, and now rolling into 2024, where we're getting much closer to completing the entire series. I'm giving you my opinions of reading the story, not watching the story. Keep that in mind, which means my pronunciations might be a little off because I've heard no one say the names. And I don't have any filler, which is awesome, and I'm enjoying it so much more now that I'm also watching the anime back with my wife at earlier episodes and discovering, holy crap, there's so much filler. So today we're going to talk about the Zou Arc. I don't have any funny One Piece related stories to talk about in front of this. No, we're just going to talk about the arc itself, so let's kick it off. Our crew has left Dressrosa, completed the entire arc. We've discovered everything there is to know about Doflamingo. We've still got Caesar with them on the boat right now. Well, not with them. Caesar, basically the crew got separated. You had Nami, you had Zoro, no, we had Nami, Brook, Chopper, Sanji, and Usopp all go away before Dressrosa ended. And I have thoughts on this, and I don't like it. I don't like the crew constantly being separated at this point because now it's going to happen again, but we're going to get to that. So we have obviously Luffy, Zoro, Robin, two samurais, a little boy that can turn into a dragon. I think there might have been one other person, but I'm not thinking of them right now because it doesn't overall matter. All going looking. And instead of finding another island, they're all going to a moving island. On the back of an elephant named Zou is an island, and the elephant is doomed to walk forever. The island itself has just recently been under an attack, and on the island is a race known as the minks. Half animal, half humanoid individuals, everything from cats to dogs to reindeer. Yeah, I saw Chopper to eyeball on that reindeer girl. Reindeer, like bunnies, because we got Carrot now. We got all these different people on the crew on this island that are dealing with it. Now, the first thing that stood out to me at the very beginning of the arc is as we're going through it, they're talking about how they have to get rid of the Straw Hats, and Big Mom is chasing them down, and it's early on established that Sanji needs to be brought in alive. Everyone can be brought in wanted, dead or alive, but there was a very strong point brought up that Sanji has to be alive. So I even wrote a note about it because I was like, what does that even mean? Like that there's no way they would have brought that up if it didn't mean anything important. So Sanji has to be brought in alive. I also enjoyed the fact that the samurai guy whose devil fruit ability is to draw things that come to life, but he's terrible at drawing them. He drew a dragon to climb up, and the dragon was just happy to get to the end and then turn back into a drawing, and they were all like yelling at the dragon to keep going. I don't know what it was, but that drawing of a dragon that looked goofy as hell, when he smiled at the ending that he accomplished his goal, I felt happy for the drawing of the dragon before it turned back into a drawing. Enough that I wrote a note about it. So that should tell you right there that I wrote a note about the dragon. The dragon was cute. I enjoyed it. Also, the moment we were introduced to the dog girl, I think her name was Wanda in Carrot. I also wrote in all caps, the bunny people finally. That's not because I was excited to get to the bunny people finally. It's more because they're promoted everywhere. They're like, if you look at One Piece, which I obviously have to do a little bit of One Piece, there's two characters that constantly pop up, and it's I guess it's the prince, the girl slash guy, because I know that they are a girl that goes by the pronoun he, I think, because I'm not there yet. But basically, that character always comes up, and so does a bunny. So I had no idea where these like anthropomorphic like bunny people were located, and I didn't realize it'd be a whole island of other anthropomorphic characters. So it was just kind of like, finally, I'm getting to characters that are being promoted everywhere else, because I'm so far behind on the story. I'm getting, like, when I do a Google, characters come up that I have no idea who they are, and they've never been promoted in anything that I'm looking at. Like, when I got the One Piece card game, I'm going to look up the character's name real quick, because, like, when I got the One Piece card game, the character, I just looked it up, is Yamato, the son of Kaido. That's all I know. Like, it's just one of those things that kind of gets spoiled because of the fact that One Piece has been around for so long. So But it's a situation where Carrot is another character that has come up quite a bit when I'm doing my research, and having no content or no idea of who Carrot is, it was kind of exciting to get to that, because what that means to me is that I'm like, oh, I'm getting caught up to you guys. I'm finally at the segments that are being promoted everywhere else. I'm not at Yamato yet, so I don't know anything beyond who the bare bones of what that character is. But yeah, so it was interesting to get to the bunny peoples, what I'm getting at, to get to what is in the promotional art and what they're pushing right now. I also noticed right away that Wanda had Nami's clothing. I thought that was going to be more of a plot point. Wasn't. Just if we're friends, we share clothing, I guess. So whatever. And I wrote, and Carrot, because Carrot finally arrived, and Carrot's the one that is, whenever I was, because a lot of these characters like Yamato and Carrot, when I looked up One Piece statues, because I have a very much ADD hyperfixation thing, hence a lot of the stuff in the background, such as the Arknight skateboards, or the My Hero Academia statues, or all of my One Piece and Demon Slayer and Neon Genesis. Whenever I get really into a series, I like to, show it off to myself, because no one comes in this office. So I really want to show it off to myself, and I look for things, and that's where like Carrot and Yamato and all them came up. So anyway, I found it interesting right off the bat that we weren't allowed to say samurai or Wano, and it was an interesting plot point because due to the samurai and the name of Wano, that's what happened to this minks area. And then I also found it very interesting, the idea of the Minks Island. An island on the back of a wandering elephant is controlled by a cat at night and a dog during the day, or a lion. I think it was a dog, yeah. And I just like the idea of that. Like, these two kings are constantly opposed and they can never be awake at the same time. They control it at different times, which is why there's been a war now for the last 2 weeks where Nami and everybody's located. And then we get to the point of when they finally reach Nami and Brook and Chopper, they're all upset because Sanji left. So I'm like, okay, we're going to find out what's going on with Sanji. And I was just a little bit shocked to discover that Sanji is from a family in the North Blue, I think it was the North Blue, an entire family of killers. And that he's now in an arranged marriage with Big Mom's daughter. And that's the next plot, because that's all we got. like I was like, what the hell? Because I knew the Zou Arc was only 24 chapters. This was like chapter 12. I'm like, this is going to be the fastest wrap-up of a character plot I've ever seen. I thought we were going to hit that right then and there. But no, over the course of the next 10 chapters, it's established we're going to go get Sanji from this situation, which was hilarious. Also, what? I like the idea that we're finally going to learn more about Sanji, because it was a passing mention that he was from the North Blue. It wasn't like, and I just thought of it as, oh, he's just from over here. Maybe one day we'll go to the North Blue, or he'll meet people from the North Blue. Well, I was right. I didn't think it was going to go this way, though. And then with my notes here, I put down the Night and Day King thing I found to be humorous. And then it was decided that because the samurai is the reason why, we discovered the plot is there were the villains had showed up. The villains thought a samurai was on the island, and all of the minks were saying there's no samurai here, and that's why the island was destroyed. So they're basically blaming a samurai for the destruction of their city. So I loved the idea that we can't let a samurai get in here. So Kinemon, I think it's Kinemon. Is how, I'm probably saying his name wrong, but the samurai guy, his buddy, and then the kid hadn't actually made it to the place yet. I forgot to mention that. When they were climbing up the side of the wall, conveniently, the two samurai and the kid just fell off and they had to come up later. So everyone's like, don't let the samurai into the island. Because if you let the samurai into the city, the town's going to freak out on them. And I like that. Okay, so it was decided Luffy and all of them will stop the samurai from entering. They're friends with them, but they just got to make sure they don't enter so we don't have any problems. And they just walked right around them. They just walked right into the city. Which led to the big reveal of this particular miniature arc of, I wrote his name down to make sure I got it. Momonosuke, however it's pronounced, the kid, basically, Dan's got me. Momonosuke, I was just informed that's how it's pronounced in the anime. Momonosuke is actually the lord of Wano, and the guy is not his dad, the guy is his bodyguard. And they're bodyguards for Momonosuke. Whatever, the kid. They're bodyguards for him. And I loved the reaction of, now that you know who I am, you must bow, Luffy. And Luffy just laughed it off and just was like, whatever, I don't care. It was great. But the big reveal, which also answers a question that I've had since Dressrosa, and I haven't really brought up because I keep forgetting, because the samurai and the kid, they were just forgettable. And I was kind of like, why are they here? Like, it was cool with them back over at Punk Hazard, where the story revolved around them. But why are they still on the boat was more my question at that point. I thought it was because Wano, I know, is a huge arc. I know it's like, because everyone when I started this said, see you in Wano. I was like, okay, well, they must be here for Wano, so they're just going to be like hanging out at the bottom of the boat until we get to Wano. And then when they fell off the elephant, I was like, they're just going to hang out at the bottom of the boat until we get to Wano. So it makes sense why they're around now, because as we discover, with the help of Robin and the kid and all these other ones, the entire next section of the plot is revealed. I realize at this point that this arc here is literally exposition to set up what is happening next. Because we discover the road pawn glyphs. 4 of them will lead to the final island. 1 of them is on the island. Now we need to go find the other 3, and the warlords are the ones guarding the road pawn glyphs. And I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing now. Which has led to peace is made between the Day and Night King. Great. Love how that worked out. We also discovered that the reason that, which I found was funny, the minks don't hate the samurai because they were actually hiding him. They were just not telling the bad guys that the samurai was in the town. So that was where they hate the samurai, and they didn't want to tell Luffy and them because they didn't trust them right away, that the samurai was just fine and being hidden in the town. So I liked that whole thing. And when asked why they just didn't reveal him, they said, well, they would never reveal one of their allies. They would guard him. So moving forward, we now have the samurai out. We have the characters from Wano. We had discovered that the kid is now a king. Sanji is going off to get married, apparently, even though he doesn't really want to. We also have to deal with the road pawn glyphs now that we need Robin for, which made me realize this whole arc is really just not filler. It's just setting up the next couple of arcs. Because they discuss how they need Luffy's help to liberate Wano. But he literally says, okay, but first I have to get Sanji. So literally, they make a new alliance with Lord the Kid. They make Lord the Kid. They make a new alliance with Lord the Kid. And I loved Traffy's reaction to that. Hey, what about our alliance? And Luffy's like, do you have a problem with it? He goes, well, no. Which I thought, like, why would Traffy have a problem? Because the ultimate goal is that Kaido or Kato, I'll get how it's pronounced when we're finally at him. The Beast Lord, though, he's in charge of Wano. So by getting everyone to go to Wano to liberate it, we're also going to get Traffy's goal. But we can't go to Wano right away. We got to go figure out what's going on with Sanji. And that is where my problem with the story is actually, my actual issue with the story at this point is. Since all the way back, and I didn't really realize this till I had the discussion with my wife because she just watched the War arc, and I don't know which of these 2 videos is coming out first, but it made me realize that since chapter 500, Luffy was on his own. We then get together again for Fishman Island. Everyone comes back. We then rolled onto, I believe it was Punk Hazard is the next arc in the chain, and everyone pseudo-separated, but we did the usual classic One Piece where they're all in different groups. Okay? Then we moved into Dressrosa, where the cast started to get so big, we actually sent old cast members away to make room for the new people of Dressrosa. Rebecca, Kyros, all those characters. Like, they needed to be front and center. Our cast is getting too big. And that was my concern, and I'm pretty sure I said it in one of the 3 Dressrosa videos I did, that was happening, where cast is getting too big. And they do it again here. Because it's established we're going in 4 different directions. That we're going to have the, for some reason I want to say whole Cake Island. I think they said Cake Island. I know the next arc is the Cake Island arc. But anyway, we have, who is it? It's going to be Nami, Luffy, and someone else on the main crew. They're going to go get Sanji. I think it was Brook. Because it's the guys that are sad that they let him go. So it's like Nami, Brook, Luffy, maybe Chopper, but everyone that was sad that they let Sanji go off, they want to go help get Sanji. So we got that to deal with. Okay, I've pulled it up. But we have the Wano team, which are going to go look, basically try to save Sanji. We have the Marco team. The Marco team has no one significant on it. No, hold on. Okay. Whole Cake Island team is going to go get Sanji. And that is Luffy, The cat guy that was on Mom's thing, it's like Palco or Pilco or something weird like that. I'm sure he's going to become very important now. He got mentioned a bunch here, but I honestly wasn't paying much attention because I was like, he's going to stay in the island to recover. But yeah, Luffy just threw him on his back all bandaged up like, come on, you're coming with me to get Sanji. So I was like, oh, he's going to be on the crew now. And that's what I'm getting at here. The crew is being expanded outwards because we have the Team Zou team that is going to stay on the elephant. And that's like the Lord the Kid and them. We have the Wano team, which is Zoro and the samurais all going to Wano ahead of everyone. We have the Marco Search team, which is Team Cat Viper, the Night King, going off to look for Marco. I forget the exact reason why, but we need Marco because he's the one that set up Luffy what he's doing. And then everyone left is going with Luffy to Whole Cake Island to save Sanji. Now, I was a little sad that Zoro, the greatest guy ever in this entire series, was heading off to Wano because if it follows the trend of anything else, that means that we're not going to see Zoro until we get to Wano. And I think that that's what my problem is because immediately we added new crew members who are temporary. We got the new cat guy, Palco or Pilco or whatever. I'll get his name down when we're actually in his arc with him. But Carrot jumps on board the ship, which was hilarious. I love the way she did that. She just jumped on board, and she's like, "I've never left the zoo, and I've never been in the ocean." They're like, "Well, what are you gonna do for food?" She goes, "I brought 3 carrots for breakfast, lunch, and dinner." And they're like, "It's a 5-day ride just there." And she's like, "Oh." But it's almost weird that we're cutting some crew members out because Robin's not with the main team either. I don't know which one she went with. I think she went with the Marco team. Because that would be the one looking for the road pond glyphs. So we've cut down the main crew to bring in new crew members. I liked it better when like Vivi joined the crew, but it was Vivi joined the crew and they kept the crew members and we all worked together. But it was the complaint I was having where the crew's starting to feel like it got too big. And obviously Oda wants to introduce new characters, new cast members. We have the alliance that just got made over in Dressrosa. Now we have Zou, and that alliance has gotten bigger. I believe they called it what did they call it? It's hilarious. I can Google that real quick too. We have the Ninja Pirate Mink Samurai Alliance. That's what it's become now. And they even question why we're adding the word ninja into it. But, whatever. It's Luffy and he wants to do that. I also... Side note, I know it's a weird spot to put it, but I also loved that they're like, we have to go get Sanji because he's like worth 1,000 of my crew members. And Zoro's response is not that he's going to go help, but that must mean that he's 2,000 crew members. So he's going to go to Wano. So all of that was great. I did like it. It's a great setup for what's going to happen next, but I do dislike the idea that we're separating the crew again to add in new members. Now, obviously, Carrot has a lot of stuff. I don't know if that's Rule 34 fan art and that's where she's all over the place. Or, because, come on. Everyone loves the furry bunny girl with the big boobs. Whatever. I play Final Fantasy 14. I'm a dragon girl. I get it. It's fine. Or is she going to be important and lovable and I'm going to love her in the end? I don't know. I just wish Zoro was on the crew. I wish Robin was on the crew. I dislike this constant disbanding of the crew. Now, I do got to mention the Reverie. The last 2 chapters where the entire world is coming together to set up new rules, which at first I was like, okay, more boring world building stuff that is going to be important later, so I better pay attention now. But then they reintroduced Vivi, and I was like, yay! And at first I thought Vivi was going to run into the crew, and then I realized she's going to the Reverie. So I hope it's important and fun, because she's not going to the crew. I was like, yeah, Vivi! Oh, she's doing that. I hope it's not boring. So anyway, that's where we are. We're at the end of this particular arc. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Hopefully, Carrot becomes a character that I love as much as Vivi, and I want her to stay around, and then she'll be booted off like Vivi. So I just get excited when she shows up in, epilogues. But yeah, that's where we are. I'm excited for this. What is the next one? Whole Cake Island. Whole Cake Island is 80 chapters. So we will be breaking that up with our new system of me trying to continue making One Piece videos, but that means that we're going to be doing probably 15 to 20 chapters instead of 30 to 40. The reason is simple, if you're still wondering. I've been trying to get more content on this channel on a regular basis, but the problem I'm running into is the amount of One Piece I'm reading. So a chapter of One Piece is like 3 pages shy of a normal comic book. So by reading 30 to 40 chapters on a weekly basis, like I have been doing up to this point most weeks, that's 30 to 40, equivalent of 30 to 40 comics I'm reading. On top of that, I read about 20 to 30 normal comic books on a weekly basis. I also have like 2 full days of podcast filming to do, the rest of the comic story and work to do. I also have a bunch of like 1,000,000,001 other hobbies that I do. So trying to read that much in a week is just making it so that the Manga Storian channel is only the One Piece channel, which I'm not against, but as I said in the previous video, we need to come up with a better plan because once One Piece ends, we're going to lose all of our viewers because no one's going to watch the other stuff. So I need to start building out more content here. So that's what we're focusing on. I do want to do One Piece on a weekly basis, honestly, because I don't want to delay reading One Piece. I want to read it, and I want to keep going with the story, and I want to see where it's going to go. I'm getting more and more excited. Dressrosa got me hyped up. I know I said the Fishman Island was kind of like, oh, what the hell? It was a little meh. But Dressrosa got me totally hyped back up, and now the idea of where we're going with the zoo, which reminds me, I got an image of the elephant here. I forgot, that's what Lord the Kid is staying back to do. Lord the Kid has hockey and can talk to the elephant. No one else can talk to the elephant. And the elephant is doomed to walk because of an order. So, like, there's a whole story to this elephant that has been alive for over 1,000 years and an island grew on its back. I want to know more about this. And I really hope that you guys are not going to respond with, they still haven't answered it, because that seems to be a running theme on all the fun mysteries. What does the D mean? They haven't answered it. What about Luffy's father? They haven't answered it. What about Luffy's mother? They haven't answered it. What about the elephant? They haven't answered it. I feel like that's going to be the response, because anything I find interesting, that's your response. They haven't answered it. All right, guys. Thanks so much for today's video. I'll see you next time right here with more One Piece. We already have a couple planned out. Hoping you enjoy.